Number 1. This creepy story comes from Flex, a YouTuber known for exploring haunted and abandoned places. Normally, he brings a few friends along for safety. But this time, he decided to go alone. And it turned out to be a night he'll never forget. It happened on a cold February evening in 2023. Flex planned to spend the night in an old, abandoned farmhouse deep in the UK countryside. The place was isolated and already gave off an unsettling vibe. He had visited it once before with a friend and experienced strange things. But this was his first time going in alone.
Thank you to everybody who's been tuning in recently and coming to check out what I'm doing. Strange one tonight, really weird one. I've decided to come out on my own. Quite a busy road behind us, but yeah, I've decided to come out on my own. And because I'm very, very close to, I'm not too far away from where I live. These kind of places are accessible. I've been to this place before. It's an old farmhouse. It was owned by a poet, and me and Dan came to this, I think it was last year, and we did some paranormal stuff in there.
After a long, cold walk through the empty field, he reached the decaying building.
In there, straight across here. This field is where the house is. It is literally in the middle of nowhere. There it is.
The air felt heavy, and the silence around him was broken only by the wind and his own footsteps. Despite feeling uneasy, he pushed forward, determined to make it through the night. Inside, the farmhouse was in terrible shape. Flex explored the upper floors, trying to find a place to rest.
Don't know if you can tell, but I'm not feeling good about it. Everywhere. The curtains not bad. The floor's decent, still got carpet down, half the wallpaper's still on. I mean, it's incredible that this house is still standing. It probably won't be for in a couple of years. It'll probably be gone. But there's the bed, and you can see how horrible that mattress is. And you can probably guess that how long ago that was slept in. Oh man, this is mental. I haven't heard anything, so I think I'm far enough away from.
Eventually, he settled in a room that still had a bed, though the mattress looked filthy and untouched for years. He set up his gear, laid out his sleeping bag, and tried to get comfortable. But things quickly took a turn.
What's that noise? I think paranoia. When I get quiet, I go quiet. Like you start to hear things, and I think it's like the paranoia, like the wonder of being on my own, and like every little noise is like, damn, what's that? Like, what is that? Like, you know what I mean? So that's what I was saying before. I need to keep talking. I need to keep busy. I need to keep.
Strange noises started, faint sounds that didn't seem to come from the wind or old wood. At first, he thought it might just be his imagination playing tricks, but the longer he stayed, the worse the feeling got. The house seemed alive with tension. Later that night, just as he was starting to fall asleep, a loud banging jolted him awake.
Right, so I'm going to get in here. I've got my night vision camera there, which I'm going to set up. I cannot believe I'm doing this. So I'm going to get semi-comfortable in here, and
It sounded like someone was trying to break in through the front door. Then came the unmistakable sound of footsteps. Someone had entered the house and was walking upstairs, checking the rooms one by one. Flex didn't move. He stayed frozen in place, hoping whoever it was wouldn't find him. He could even see a light moving through the hallway. Whoever it was, they never noticed him lying in the bed. For nearly 10 minutes, he stayed completely still, waiting for the intruder to leave. Eventually, The house fell silent again. Seeing his chance, Flex carefully packed up his things and quietly slipped out.
Quiet as I can. It's still there, it's been seen, so I'm just gonna go for it.
He made his way through the field and back to his car without being seen. Though he made it out safe, the experience left him shaken. He still doesn't know who entered the house that night or what they wanted, but one thing is for sure, he's not going back to a haunted place alone again. Subscribe and help us reach 20,000 subscribers. 90% of you have not subscribed yet. Number 2. Captain Coho is known for sharing outdoor adventures on YouTube, often combining peaceful nature scenes with personal stories. One of his most memorable trips took place at Lost Lake in Oregon, a place he had planned to visit for over a year. Despite the thick wildfire smoke blanketing the area, he decided to go ahead with the trip, hoping to catch some trout and make the most of the eerie, almost post-apocalyptic conditions. The lake, often called one of the most photographed in the US, looked nothing like its usual self. Smoke covered the landscape, cutting visibility to almost nothing.
So this is a trip. We're in Lost Lake, Oregon. We're out here with the ultralight. Woo. And you can't see 150 feet out there on the lake. This is all wildfire up here right now. We're out here trying to catch trout, but look at that. We came up and boom, we drove right into this mess. So we're gonna try to catch us some trout. Go from there. It really is the end of the world. This should feel really clear out. Unbelievable. You can see this combination of smoke and moisture. But it is unreal out here. Some apocalyptic conditions. This is the most photographed lake in Oregon, maybe in the United States. And it is absolutely gorgeous out here.
With no other people around, the forest felt strangely calm at first. He recalled a past visit with his wife, but as he ventured deeper into the woods, the mood quickly shifted.
It is not the wide angle ratio of the iPhone giving you the shivers, bro. It's the raw footage of reality out here. Fun fact, a year ago I came out here with my wife and she was about to pop pregnant. And we had to stop probably a quarter of the mile back.
Out of nowhere, loud crashes echoed through the trees. At first, he thought it might be a bear, possibly driven closer by the wildfires. But the sounds that followed didn't match any animal he knew. Large rocks were being thrown, smashing into trees and snapping branches with force. He couldn't see what was doing it, but the noise made it clear that something big was nearby.
And I'd say this is our time to head back too, because whatever large creature is back there, it's big. Let's take a look. Shh. It's big. It's probably fucking Sasquatch at this point.
Keeping pace with him in the forest, more rocks came, each louder and closer than the last. It felt less like random wildlife and more like something or someone was warning him to leave. With no phone signal, no weapon, and the rocks landing dangerously close, the situation turned from unsettling to genuinely frightening. Even though he was scared, he kept recording. The rocks got so close, one even made him duck.
With Sasquatch? Rock throwing. Hear that? Big rocks. That's moving. It's getting too close, bro. We gotta keep it moving. We gotta keep it moving, baby. I do not want to die out here. Dude, those are huge rocks. Huge. That is like no joke rocks. I don't have my gun out.
It became clear that staying any longer wasn't safe. Eventually, he made the call to get out, quietly making his way back to safety. Looking back on it, he didn't say for sure what it was, but whatever it was, it had strength, awareness, and didn't want him there.
What was that? It seemed awfully dude, what?
Whether it was Sasquatch or something else, he left with a story that was far too real to forget. Number 3. In May 2021, James, creator of the YouTube channel Junkyard Fox, set out for a quiet night in the West Texas desert. He was returning to a primitive shelter he'd built by hand using only natural desert materials like yucca stalks, dry grass, rocks, and creosote. It wasn't his first time out there. James had camped at this exact spot before, and this trip was meant to be just another peaceful escape under the sky.
Well, stomping grounds, because I'm going to be spending the night in my primitive shelter. So for those of you who are not caught up, a couple months back, I want to say about 2 months ago, possibly 3 months ago, I filmed a video where I made a primitive shelter solely out of desert materials like yucca stalks, creosote, rocks, dead grass, so on and so forth. Okay, folks, so here is my camp. As you can tell, there's been a lot of winds. That's something a lot of people don't realize, but out in the open desert, we get some 30-mile-an-hour winds sometimes. And of course, the shelter is going to need to constantly be updated and, renovated, right? Like any home. Yeah, luckily, at first when I got here, I was sweating buckets. But look, check it out. It's starting to get nice and gloomy, so we may see a little bit of rain later. That'd be nice.
As the sun dipped behind the horizon, James reinforced his shelter in preparation for rough weather. Strong winds and scattered rain are common in the desert, and he hoped his simple structure would hold.
Storm clouds all around me. Well, here comes the storm. The winds are really strong. I can feel some raindrops, so yeah, it's only a matter of time. Luckily, I did finish my shelter. Once again, not the greatest, but I got the bedding in there. I managed to make the door somewhat improved over earlier, and the patching is done, so worst comes to worst, I'll just hunker.
The storm eventually passed without much trouble, and James settled in, cooked a simple meal by the fire, and prepared to rest. But sometime after midnight, that peaceful evening took a violent turn.
Okay, folks, so change of plans. I was asleep for 2 hours, then I woke up to a truck driving nearby, and they shot my truck. They legitimately shot the windows on my truck. People I don't know. This is crazy. Look, these are my windows. This is insane. Once again, I have no clue who these people are. They're just drunks. I could hear the loud music, that's what woke me up. And sure enough, so I'm guessing this trip is over. Oh man, what a mess.
James was jolted awake by the sound of a vehicle tearing through the dark, blasting loud music. Seconds later, gunshots. In shock, he ran outside to find that someone had opened fire on his truck. The windows were blown out, and glass was scattered across the ground. With no idea who had done it or why, James realized just how dangerous the situation could have been if he had been spotted. He packed up and left immediately, stopping later to file a report with the police. Unfortunately, without a clear description of the truck or suspects, there was little anyone could do. James didn't know the attackers, had no connection to them, and wasn't involved in anything that might provoke such violence. It appeared to be completely random, just the wrong place at the wrong time. Though he made it out safely, the damage left behind was a chilling reminder of how quickly a night in nature can turn into something else entirely. Number 4. Jay, a YouTuber known for exploring eerie and remote locations, returned to a forest where he'd previously heard strange sounds. He had visited the area before while searching for signs of the legendary skunk ape, but this time something far more disturbing awaited him. Armed with only a flashlight and a camera, Jay ventured deep into the woods at night.
We're gonna walk around here tonight, see if we catch anything. We have picked up tree knocks in this area before. I've had some strange noises I can't explain, so we'll see what we get tonight. And it'll also just be interesting to walk through here because with the cold weather and it being underwater for so long, it's pretty cleared out as far as underbrush. So we're gonna walk around, see what we can capture.
As he walked further in, he began testing for activity by knocking on trees, a common method used by cryptid hunters.
Alright, I got the red light on, so it might be a little bit dark. I'm gonna do some tree knocks and see if we get any responses. Sounds like somebody just shot. I think I just heard something that way. It's oddly quiet out here tonight. This always happens to me.
But instead of a typical response, he was met with the distant sound of a gunshot. Still curious, Jay pressed on. But as he made his way along a remote forest road, things got even stranger. A car rolled past, blasting music, then suddenly stopped. The music went silent. Jay was left standing alone in the dark, aware that the only road out was now blocked.
I'm kind of a little bit screwed because that's the only road out of here. It's a forest road. And that's the only way out of here, and there's water all around me, so it's not like I can go anywhere. Hopefully they're not out here for very long. I know you can't see me right now, but I do not understand how this always happens to me. Like, it is literally 12:30 at night. It's almost like they're looking for me. He was out with a flashlight, now he's back out with the flashlight again. What the fuck is going on? I really hope I'm not witnessing somebody dumping a body or something. I'm also feeling really vulnerable because if it's just a drunk redneck out here and he decides to start shooting his gun off, oh god, that could be bad.
With water surrounding the area and nowhere else to go, he could only wait. In the distance, he noticed someone carrying a flashlight and dragging something.
But it sounds kind of like he's dragging something. They just turned the headlights out.
Moments later, headlights turned off and a fire began to grow, far larger than any normal campfire. It looked like someone was deliberately setting a massive brush fire.
I mean, the amount of stuff he's laid on the ground, that's no normal little fire. That is absolutely weird. I want to get out of here, but I don't want to walk next to somebody that's starting a fire that big. That's not normal.
Then, out of nowhere, the night was torn apart by 5 loud gunshots. Jay froze. He had nearly started walking in that direction just moments before the shots rang out. Now terrified for his life, he crouched behind a tree and stayed perfectly still.
I was about 2 seconds away from just starting to walk that way to go around him, and then he shot that fucking gun. I don't know what to do now. I don't really want to get shot.
He remained hidden for over an hour and a half, heart racing, unsure of what or who was out there. Eventually, the fire faded and the distant lights disappeared. Though his camera had died, Jay seized the opportunity and fled the forest. Whatever was happening out there, whether criminal, ritualistic, or something else entirely, remains a mystery. But one thing was certain. He had narrowly escaped what he later described as the most terrifying night of his life. Number 5. On January 4th, 2024, a cold case that had haunted a South Carolina town for 7 years was finally closed. It was the case of Tommy Briley, a man who mysteriously vanished in 2017 after leaving Brewer's Bar and Grill in Sumter. That night, Tommy and his silver BMW 325i disappeared without a trace. Despite extensive efforts by authorities and family, no leads ever surfaced until a pair of determined YouTubers took the search into their own hands. Adam, known for his diving explorations focused on missing persons and lost objects, decided to investigate Tommy's disappearance alongside fellow searcher Jason. They suspected water might have been involved, especially since neither the man nor his car had ever been found. Over the years, they scoured countless wooded areas and hidden waterways, believing the vehicle had to be submerged somewhere off Tommy's route home. Eventually, using sonar equipment, Jason detected a car-shaped object near a remote curve by a bridge. It was a spot easily missed, especially at night, and fit the theory that Tommy may have lost control and veered off the road.
He left at like 2 a.m., vanished. He only had like a 15-minute drive back to his house, but neither him or his car has been seen since. So me and Jason, we've been checking so many places over the past few years for Tommy. Just all the signs to us point, when a car goes missing, you're in the woods or the water somewhere. There's a lot of woods, but by this time, usually hunters or somebody would have seen him if it was obvious. There's not a ton of water. There's a lot of little spots, and we're just, continuing to search. And you've been out here the past few days looking, right?
Yeah, I was here Saturday. It looks like it could be a car. I mean, it's a car-shaped object. Out towards this way. I don't know if it came around that curve here.
Yeah.
And like shot off right there, but no signs of car parts. But we're talking, 7 years ago?
Yeah.
So,
When they sent down an underwater drone, their suspicions were confirmed. Beneath the surface sat a silver sedan, partially buried, with a cracked window and telltale features of a BMW.
That's a car. I think so, dude. Wait a second.
sure as hell looks like one to me.
It looks silver too.
Dude.
No way. It's gotta be him. A silver car right down. This is the first place you checked?
This is the first place I checked, but all I had was a freaking radio speaker magnet to check right over there.
We didn't even, it's so small we couldn't even run the sonar boat.
Right.
We just threw the magnet in and it's stuck right away. Does that look like the right?
I don't know, can't tell.
Is it a four-door?
That looks like a four-door. Yeah, his car is a four-door though, wasn't it?
It matched Tommy's car perfectly. This location was ironically the first place Adam had looked years earlier, but with limited tools at the time, he couldn't confirm anything.
The two grill pieces come together.
That's it. That's this BMW.
We found Tommy. I bet.
That's gotta be Tommy.
That's gotta be Tommy.
Dude.
Dude.
This case.
This is exactly where I want. The first place I looked was right here, but like I said, all I had was a rinky-dink magnet and throw it in right here. Who knew he was going to make it all the way over here?
We probably checked every pond in Sumter. Every body of water, every boat ramp.
You want to dive?
This is the path home, right?
Yeah, this is this path home.
Curve.
That curve right there, he's going too fast. He had to been going too fast to wind up all the way over here.
Okay, let me try it. I don't want to say 100%. We know it's a silver BMW. Let me try to find a tag. I mean, I'm going to have to dive in here.
Now, thanks to advanced equipment and persistence, the vehicle and answers were finally within reach. Inside the car, human remains were discovered. Caçadores Paranormal is known across Brazil for diving into the country's darkest haunted places. But this time, Geordie took things to another level. In this terrifying solo mission, he challenges himself to spend the entire night alone inside what he claims is the most haunted house on YouTube. Armed with only a few basic supplies, his sword, and a ton of courage, Geordie steps into the abandoned house just as the sun begins to set. The place is a wreck, crumbling walls, rotting wood, and an overwhelming sense of decay hanging in the air. But that's not what makes it scary. It's the energy.
Guys, let's go on another investigation. Guys, I have my sword here. Look, guys, I'm going to leave the car here, okay? As you can see, look, the car is here. It's done, guys. I brought everything I need to get through the night. I even brought food. Let's go.
Something feels off right from the start. As he sets up his gear, strange things begin happening. His camera glitches, cold spots appear out of nowhere, and just as he starts to settle in, a door slowly creaks open by itself, right in front of him. No wind, no one around. Just the door, moving.
Going to fix this here. I'm going to put some mattresses, okay, guys? I'm going to put a time-lapse here for you now. Me fixing things here, making my bed, everything nice. Round so you can see it. Hold on, guys. It's coming. Guys, look at this door. Something came in, something came out. Guys, did you hear? The door opened, I was eating, the door opened. It's almost a demonstration, guys. Guys, it's already started, did you see?
As night falls, the real nightmare begins. Footsteps echo from upstairs, but when Geordie investigates, he finds nothing.
Guys, can you hear it? It's recorded. The sound of children. Children playing, guys. The sound of children laughing. Jumping outside, guys, jumping outside. What's this, guys? It's something bad wanting me to go outside. I'm not going outside, guys. I'm not going out. I'm sure. I'm sure someone's going to go out. I'm not going out. I'm going to stay in here, guys. I'm going to stay in here.
Later, from the shadows, a voice whispers from a hallway. Too quiet to understand, but loud enough to chill him to the bone. He clutches the sword tightly, refusing to leave despite the rising fear. At one point, childlike laughter echoes from outside, followed by the sound of kids playing and jumping around the house. But he's certain no one's out there. Whatever's calling him outside, it isn't human. He decides not to take the bait and stays put. All night long, the activity ramps up, doors creaking on their own, distant crying, moving shadows, and unexplained orbs caught on camera. Yet through all of it, Geordie stays. He doesn't run. He doesn't give up. By the time the sun finally rises, he looks exhausted but proud. Shaky, yes, but he made it. A night alone in one of the most paranormally active spots he's ever been. And he's got the footage to prove it.
I confess to you, guys, I can't use my glasses. They're very dirty, very, very big. I don't know if you can see them on the camera. Let me show you. Guys, my glasses are filthy, look. I slept like, I don't know if they got dirty, but, guys, good morning, good morning. Another day starting with God's grace. Another video ending with God's grace.